Good Tuesday evening and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to today's top news stories, let's take a quick look outside our weather window from earlier this afternoon. How about this gorgeous shot from Cougar Ridge in East Wenatchee, looking across the river at the beautiful foothills of the Cascades. You can just see parts of Wenatchee at the bottom part of your screen along with the Columbia River. But beautiful shadows today with clouds and a mix of sun on the mountains around our area. And as we take a look at the next 7 days, our 7-day forecast, 42 your high temperature for Wednesday. And look how quiet our weather will be Wednesday all the way through Monday. Not ruling out a few mountain snow showers in a couple of those days, but all in all, we are going to see very un-winter-like weather as we make our way through the 7 days. And Super Bowl Sunday, yeah, looks nice. Sunny skies with a high temperature of 44. We'll talk more weather coming up a little bit later on. And now a few of the stories we're following for you tonight. Grant County deputies continue to search for a suspect in a gunpoint robbery at Sandoval's food store Friday afternoon in George. The Chelan County Sheriff's Office is warning residents of a series of recent mail thefts in the Wenatchee Valley, including in East Wenatchee, Cashmere, and the Sunny Slope area. And a Wenatchee man who pleaded guilty to molesting a 10-year-old boy was sentenced to only 6 months in prison on Monday, plus treatment. But first we begin tonight. The Washington State Patrol says Pine Canyon between Orondo and Waterville could be closed for up to 2 days after a rock slide blocked most of Highway 2 this morning. Trooper Jeremy Weber said the slide at milepost 144 is blocking both westbound lanes and partially blocking the eastbound lanes.
Hey folks, this is Trooper Weber with your Washington State Patrol. I'm here in the area of Pine Canyon, approximately milepost 144 on Highway 2, and as you can see behind me, there's been a massive rock slide that's completely blocking the westbound lanes and partially into the eastbound lanes. Right now, Pine Canyon is closed. We're not sure for how long. I spoke with the superintendent of DOT earlier. It could be closed for 1 to 2 days. We're not sure, but as soon as it's open, we will let you know, but it won't be until this is removed and it's a safe place to travel. This is Trooper Weber, your Washington State Patrol.
Grant County deputies continue to search for a suspect in a gunpoint robbery at Sandoval's food store Friday afternoon in George. An unidentified amount of money was taken in the 1 p.m. robbery at the store. It's located on South Frontage Road, just off Interstate 90. Kyle Foreman with the Grant County Sheriff's Office said investigators are looking at similar robberies on January 23rd at a market in Royal City to see if the two are linked, but haven't yet made that connection. The suspect is described as a Hispanic man in his early 20s, about 5 feet 5 inches tall and 145 pounds. He was carrying a black handgun. He was last seen running south into the George community, where he may have jumped into a waiting vehicle. The Chelan County Sheriff's Office is warning residents of a series of recent mail thefts in the Wenatchee Valley, including in East Wenatchee, Cashmere, and the Sunny Slope area. Deputies found some of the stolen mail Monday morning discarded in a Chelan County roadway. The Sheriff's Office says if you see a suspicious vehicle or people at your mailbox or your neighbor's mailbox, don't hesitate to take a picture and immediately call Rivercom. Recovered mail is returned to the Postal Service and victims are notified if open mail is recovered. A Wenatchee man who pleaded guilty to molesting a 10-year-old boy was sentenced to only 6 months in prison on Monday, plus treatment. 26-year-old Miguel Garza Villacana had most of his 4-year sentence for first-degree child molestation suspended under the state Special Sex Offender Sentencing Option, or SSOSA. Wenatchee police arrested Garza in August of 2020, and he pleaded guilty in Chelan County Court back in December. He has no prior criminal record. The SSOSA program allows first-time sex offenders to serve part of their sentence in therapeutic programs in lieu of prison time. Coming up next, local health officials held a press conference this morning concerning COVID vaccinations. NCWLIFE's Jefferson Robbins was there. Douglas County has lost an appeal in a lawsuit over maintenance of a 100-year-old roadway that's used to maintain the East Wenatchee Irrigation Canal. East Wenatchee's new assistant police chief was sworn in Monday, completing a turnover in top officials in the East Wenatchee Police Department. And a local physician and former state senator have been appointed to 2 state boards. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
You love to help others. You need a solid career. You can have it all with help from Charter College. Our 10-month medical assistant program prepares you to work in healthcare settings like physician offices, rehab centers, and clinics. You'll learn to take patient vitals, assist with exams, administer injections, and maintain medical records. When you're ready to launch a rewarding healthcare career, visit chartercollege.edu because we work to get you to work.
It's estimated that 1/3 of Americans do not have a financial plan. At D.A. Davidson, their advisors are working to change that because they understand the importance of planning for the future. At D.A. Davidson, they believe in partnering together to build a strategy tailored to your needs. They spend the time and have the knowledge to help keep your financial future on track. Let D.A. Davidson Financial Advisors of Wenatchee put the strength of advice to work for you.
Welcome back. In another news, about 30,000 people in the Wenatchee Valley are eligible for their COVID-19 shots, and the mass vaccination site put up at Town Toyota Center last week is on track to fully inoculate about half of them by the middle of March. The center, run by local health volunteers and the National Guard, has seen about 800 to 1,000 vaccine recipients each weekday by appointment. In a press conference today, Chelan Douglas Health District Administrator Luke Davies said he hopes those numbers remain on target.
The mass vaccination site is currently doing approximately 4,000 to 5,000 a week, and you have to do a second doses for that period. That means you have 15,000 people for each 6-week period that are getting both first and second doses. So if the supply chain stays stable, we're looking at 12 weeks. But that does not include Okanagan and Grant County, which is probably an additional 20 to 30,000 individuals. So we're looking at potentially 24 weeks in order to get through this first 1B unless we have a massive increase in vaccine doses. At this point in the pandemic, we do not know if the vaccine stops transmission. So it protects you personally, but it's possible to potentially get the virus and transmit it to someone who's vulnerable. We're asking people that even if they are fully vaccinated to continue wearing masks, wash their hands, and social distance. A vaccine is only one method that we have to reduce the severeness of COVID-19. And wearing masks and social distancing are other equally important forms of that prevention.
Douglas County has lost an appeal in a lawsuit over maintenance of a 100-year-old roadway that's used to maintain the East Wenatchee Irrigation Canal. The Wenatchee Reclamation District sued in 2018, saying Douglas County wrongly vacated and demolished a portion of the access road used to reach the canal from Baker Avenue. The county then used the vacated property to build a retention pond. A visiting judge ruled last year that Douglas County failed to properly notify the Reclamation District and ordered the county to restore the road. On Monday, a state appeals court upheld that ruling. The appellate judges urged the county and the district to find a solution to the problem without resorting to another lawsuit in the future. East Wenatchee's new assistant police chief was sworn in on Monday, completing a turnover of top officials in the East Wenatchee Police Department. Eric Hampton comes to East Wenatchee after 22 years with the Yakima Police Department. Most recently, he was the sergeant of the Gang Crime Investigation Unit. Hampton replaces Ray Coble, who resigned last July. Police Chief Rick Johnson was hired by the city last June, replacing retiring longtime Chief Randy Harrison. A local physician who's been instrumental in the Wenatchee Valley's war on COVID-19 was appointed to a state oversight position this week. Dr. Mabel Bodell of Confluence Health joins the Health Benefit Exchange Board at the appointment of Governor Jay Inslee. The board reviews health plans before they're offered under the state's Medicaid insurance program. Also at the governor's order, former state senator Linda Evans Parlett joins the state Healthcare Cost Transparency Board, which analyzes trends in medical expenses. Other appointees this week include Tara Miller of OMAC for the State Commission on Judicial Conduct and Stephen Jacobs of Leavenworth for the Healthcare Facilities Authority. You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News. Coming up next, tonight's feature story and your complete local weather forecast. That and much more still to come on the NCWLIFE Evening News. Please stay with us.
So Pam, how's your mom doing?
She's okay. She's struggling. She'd like to stay in her house, and it's getting harder for her to do the daily chores.
What kinds of problems is she having?
Just basic house cleaning, taking care of her house, yard work, taking care of her medicine.
Mm-hmm. It does sound exhausting.
It is very exhausting, and I always worry about her.
Aging and Adult Care can assist you or your loved one to remain comfortably and safely in their own home. Contact them today to start the conversation.
Traditional values and innovation in honoring the life of each family we serve is part of the ministry of Heritage Memorial Chapel. Our staff is committed to walk with your family with compassion through this time of grief. We are here to help and here to serve, the right kind of help when you need it most. Heritage Memorial Chapel.
My name is Anaisa Lemus, and I teach at John Newberry Elementary. I had a tooth in the front that was just always causing me problems. It was just happening so regularly. I went to go get a root canal done, and the root canal didn't help a whole lot because then it came back. Both of my parents went to Dr. Divis's office. They really recommended him because he had done such a great job on their teeth. I went and really have had a really pleasant experience with him. He just made me feel really at ease with everything. He was really confident with what he was doing. He said, this is one of his favorite parts of his job, which really made it easier for me because, when you're really passionate about something, they're going to do a good job. As a teacher, my students, I'll tell them randomly sometimes, oh yeah, with my fake tooth. They're always so shocked. Like, what? It looks like your real tooth. And I'm really happy with the results now.
This is Dr. John Divis. Please call us today.
Welcome back to the NCWLIFE Evening News. Wednesday is National Missing Persons Day. It's also an annual reminder to one Wenatchee family that's been searching for their missing loved one for more than 4.5 years. In tonight's feature story, Brittany Moore appeared on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley with Dan Coons to talk about the disappearance of her sister, Jessie Grace Moore.
So on June 20th of 2016, my sister, Jessie Grace Moore, was no longer in contact with my family, and it all came out that she went missing, and a video was taken of her the day she went missing at Centennial Park. And we found this video after we realized she was missing, but in the video, her head is shaved, and that was a complete shock to my family and I, and we, to this day, have no idea who did that, if she did that. And in the video, she's clearly under mental stress, and she's being made fun of in the video, belittled. It was really, heartbreaking to watch, and it's heartbreaking that that is the last memory we have of her. But it is a great identifier. So at that time, her head was shaved. Possibly some lettering was shaved into her head, or 13 lines as well. So yeah, I felt like her case wasn't getting the attention it deserved. She did battle with mental health issues as well as drug abuse, and I feel like stories like hers can fall by the wayside and not get the coverage that they need. So I had reached out to so many people to cover her case, so many YouTubers, podcasters, and I wasn't getting the response that she deserves to get her case covered. So we kind of took it into our own hands, and we we're almost at 2,000 subscribers, where we're able to share her story and get it out there and break it down, the theories and all of the information and who she was as a person, because that's so important, you know, because you can just see a picture of someone and say, people don't realize who she was as a person. She was a beautiful person who was going to offer so much to this world, and someone thought they had the right to take her from us, and 100% we think foul play is involved in her disappearance. That's important to know. We don't think she just up and left. She had 2 sons that she cared about deeply, and even though she was going through a lot at that time, she cared about us, and she wouldn't just up and leave her family, and she was in constant contact with my family all the time. So the fact that we heard nothing from her, it's a huge indicator that something happened to her. Her case is still open to this day. It's being actively investigated by Steve Evett, and he has helped us tremendously. He looks into everything we send to him, any possible tips, any possible sightings. He will look into it, and he meets with us regularly to communicate, and it makes us feel so reassured that something is being done, steps are being taken to look for Jessie, and it doesn't matter what tips come in. If it's a dead end, he's going to look into it, and he's going to do what he can, and he cares about finding justice for Jessie and finding out what happened to her.
All right, let's switch gears now and take a look at your north central Washington weather forecast. It was just one of those weird winter days today, wasn't it? It looked like it was clearing up this morning, and then about 11:30 that big cloud moved over us. And what was falling from the sky today wasn't hail. It's called graupel, which is supercooled water droplets that freeze, collect, and then actually fall on top of snowflakes. It's almost like styrofoam. You can squish them, and that's called graupel, and we did see that around noon today, and that made for some dramatic video this afternoon. We had some sun shining through the clouds at times today, and this is a beautiful shot from our Cougar Ridge Sky-Fi Tower camera looking back at the Columbia River, Wenatchee, and the Cascade foothills. High temperature today. Boy, it was a nice one out there. It didn't quite get as warm as we thought it would. Unofficially 43 degrees today, but that's still 5 degrees above where we should be at 38 for this time of year. 31 was our morning low, and that too above where we should be. Normal is 27. Record high back in 2005 at 52 degrees, and it was a cold one in 1996 at 7 below zero. 2/100ths of an inch of moisture out of that little storm system at noontime, and that now gets us to 1.65 inches of moisture for the year. Sunrise this morning 7:25, and it set this afternoon at 5:05. Let's take a peek at how your hump day Wednesday will shape up, and things look great. I mentioned it at the top of the newscast. Our weather pattern becoming very stable and very quiet too, with temperatures above normal, mid to even upper 40s in the Columbia Basin, 47 Moses Lake, 46 in Ephrata, lower 40s back here in the Wenatchee Valley, 42 for Wenatchee, and then 41 in Eniat and in Chelan. As we take a look at our surface loop tonight, we'll take you through the next 6.5 days. Mostly cloudy tonight. We could still see an isolated shower or two. I think that'll mainly be back to the western part of the state and maybe over into the Cascades, but not much here in north central Washington. As we get into Wednesday, we just talked about it, not a bad day at all. We'll see mostly sunny skies. It will be a little bit cooler, but still mild temperatures for this time of year, that's for sure. Most of the cold air sinking down into Montana. For Thursday, partly cloudy skies and mild. It should be a nice one. We're not ruling out some mountain snow on Thursday either. Maybe even a snow flurry or two over in the Spokane, Coeur d'Alene area if you're traveling that way on Thursday. But then things will really quiet down as we get into Friday. Sunny, unseasonably warm with high temperatures approaching 50 degrees on Friday. And you can see that, especially down in the Tri-Cities, Yakima, also Moses Lake, good chance for 50 degrees on Friday. Saturday, great way to start our weekend. Mostly sunny. Once again, we're going to stay unseasonably warm as all the cold air slides down inside this trough. 6 degrees in Billings, Montana this weekend, while we will enjoy mid-40s for Super Bowl Sunday. Just a little bit cooler for Sunday, but still above normal. Keep in mind, normal's 38, so we'll be pretty much into the lower 40s. And then as we kick off our next work week, more of the same. We'll see mostly sunny skies. Once again, just a little bit cooler, but still mild with high temperatures Monday right around 40 degrees. And let's take a look now at your 7-day forecast. 28 overnight tonight with some clearer skies. 42 tomorrow, partly cloudy on Thursday, and 44. And look at our day on Friday. Get the golf clubs out. 48 degrees, sunny and warm, mostly sunny and mild Saturday, and then Super Bowl Sunday. Patrick Mahomes versus Tom Brady. Who do you like? Should be a nice day, that's for sure. 44 with sunshine. We'll stay with mostly sunny skies on Monday with a high temperature then of 42 degrees. And that's a look at your local weather forecast. Coming up next, tonight's sports report with Eric Granstrom and more as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues right after this.
Dr. Wayne Latimer's Chiropractic and Integrative Multi-Care specializes in all level of injury care. If you've been injured in an auto accident, on the job, have a sports injury, or a simple fall, call today for a free consultation. They offer a combined multi-care approach with medical, chiropractic, physical therapy, massage, and acupuncture. For relief from long-standing injuries to basic solutions for the weekend warrior, Latimer's Chiropractic Integrative Multi-Care is one stop, one location.
At Local Myth Pizza, we believe in real food, freshly prepared with only premium ingredients. Our cheeses are imported from Italy. Our sauces, dressings, and even our sausages are made in-house fresh daily. Featuring Northwest craft beers and 30 Chelan Valley wines and ciders. Family fun and amazing food. Eat local, drink local, and be local at Local Myth Pizza.
Come see why Sunset Magazine says you can't beat Local Myth Pizza.
And now it's a sports update on the NCWLIFE channel.
And a happy Tuesday to you. Haley Van Lith's Louisville Cardinals lost for the first time this season last night, falling to NC State 74-60. Elisa Cunane made her return to the court for the first time since early January after recovering from COVID-19. She led the Wolfpack with 16 points and 6 rebounds. Dana Evans went off for a game-high 29 points for Louisville, but the rest of the offense was stagnant. Coach Jeff Waltz says he just didn't have his ladies ready to go.
We had some good looks, especially there in the first half, that we just didn't make. But then we didn't do a great job of following the scout report, which I'll take responsibility for that because I've got to make sure that they're dialed in and prepared. A few of their players did exactly what we knew they were going to do, and we just weren't. I don't know if we weren't prepared for it, if we didn't know it was coming or what. But we didn't do a very good job defensively in a few situations.
Haley finished with 6 points and 4 rebounds. The rankings came out earlier in the day Monday, so Louisville will hold that number 1 spot, at least on paper, until next week. Cardinals play at Boston College Thursday at 5 o'clock. Well, prior to Monday night's game, Haley's name came up on a very reputable watch list. Van Lith was part of the top 10 list announced by the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame and the Women's Basketball Coaches Association as the candidates for the 2021 Nancy Lieberman Award. That award recognizes the nation's top point guard. The 5'7" Van Lith has started every game for the Cardinals this season. She's averaging 11.9 points a game, 5.6 rebounds, is hitting 37.5% beyond the arc. She's third on the team with 35 assists and third with 19 steals. Nominated along with Haley is her teammate, Dana Evans, one of the nation's leading scorers. Well, number 19, Gonzaga will host BYU in a battle for first place in the West Coast Conference tonight. Cougars have managed to play just 4 games in January due to COVID postponements. Tip time tonight is at 6 o'clock. The rest of our Washington women's teams are off until Friday when number 5 UCLA visits Washington State at noon, while Washington hosts USC at 7 p.m. On Sunday, USC will head for the Blues for a noon matchup, while Washington takes on the Bruins at 2 o'clock. Well, Gonzaga remains the number 1 ranked men's team in the country in college basketball. The Bulldogs were supposed to host Loyola Marymount Thursday at 6 o'clock at the McCarthy Athletic Center. The game has been postponed because of COVID protocols in the LM program. So now Gonzaga has 2 holes in its schedule. Zag's game against Santa Clara, slated for Saturday, has also been postponed due to COVID in Santa Clara's program. Bulldog coach Mark Few said he'd be willing to add a quality non-conference matchup should anybody become available. In addition, Thursday's schedule has Washington traveling to Oregon State at 6 o'clock on the Pac-12 Network. Washington State plays at Oregon at 8 on FS1. Huskies and Ducks will have a national television audience Saturday when Oregon hosts Washington at 1 o'clock on CBS. Washington State plays at Oregon State Saturday at 3 o'clock. Well, 2 Methow residents have been named to the U.S. ski team. Novi McCabe is a 2020 graduate of Liberty Bell High School. The Winthrop native was one of 6 skiers named to the Women's Junior World Championships team. She's listed on the U.S. ski team site as a member of the cross-country D team. Walker Hall is a Mazama native who also graduated from Liberty Bell in 2020. He's been named as an alternate for the Men's Junior World Championship team. Both are expected to compete at the upcoming 2021 FIS Nordic Junior and U23 World Ski Championships in Finland. By the way, the 2 Methow natives joined the ski team already that features Mazama's Sadie Bjornsson. She's a 2-time Olympian who's been part of the U.S. ski team for 10 years. Well, Major League Baseball players have rejected a proposal by the league to postpone the start of spring training and the season. This means that pitchers and catchers will report in 2 weeks at the regular season with on time and starting April 1st. On Friday, MLB proposed a 154-game schedule with players reporting to training camp in late March. According to ESPN's Jeff Passage, union leaders balked at the language in the proposal that would give Commissioner Rob Manfred more expansive powers to cancel games in the event of a COVID-19 outbreak. And finally, former Seahawk offensive lineman Chad Wheeler pled not guilty to criminal charges related to a domestic violence incident 2 weeks ago. Wheeler has been charged with first-degree domestic violence assault, domestic violence and lawful imprisonment, and resisting arrest. In Washington, first-degree domestic assault is a Class A felony, while domestic violence assault, unlawful imprisonment, that is a Class C felony. If convicted, Wheeler could be sent to prison for 8 to 12 years. He's accused of choking his girlfriend twice until she became unconscious. Police reports say that when they forced entry into the apartment they shared in Kent, they found the woman crying in pain, her face covered in blood, and her left arm swollen and limp against her body. Scans revealed she suffered a fractured humerus and a dislocated elbow. She appeared in court Monday with her left arm in a sling. A criminal advocate supervisor with King County Prosecutor's Office read a statement on her behalf in which she said she does not feel safe as long as Wheeler is out of custody. The judge kept the bail at $400,000, and Wheeler is to remain in Washington on electronic home detention. His trial date is set for April 6th. That's a look at sports news. I'm Eric Grandstrom on the NCWLIFE channel. Grant, back to you.
And thank you very much, Eric. And now let's check in with Dan Kuntz for a look at what's coming up tomorrow morning on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Dan?
Thanks, Grant. On Wednesday's edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, my guest will be Alan Walker, the executive director of the Chelan Douglas Community Action Council. Their annual fundraiser, the 9th annual Empty Bowls event, is underway. We'll let you know how you can participate. It's a big fundraiser, big event. With a few COVID-related changes, as you might imagine, Alan will give you the information that you need to participate in the 9th annual Empty Bowls event. We'll have Alan on the show tomorrow. And everything else you need to start your Wednesday, we invite you to join us for Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, 7 a.m. every weekday morning live, right here on the NCWLIFE channel. Grant, back to you.
Thank you very much, Dan. And that's going to do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-6295. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks for joining us and have a great night.
My car's making a funny noise.
Not a problem. We'll take care of you.
Global Car Care's technicians are ASE Master Techs and well-versed in the more refined methods of vehicular diagnostics.
Number 3 piston and rings have a slight loss of compression, down to 108 pounds. Your transmission is slipping. You're gonna need a service.
Looks like you all set.
These guys? They're good.
Oh, and your spare is flat.
Global Car Care, Wenatchee's top shop.
Hey everyone, Fletcher and Amy Ellington here from Live It Up. Join us every week as we answer your questions on health, wealth, and relationships.
We're all about you creating a life that you love, so tune in to Live It Up.
For all the latest news in North Central Washington, go to NCWLIFE.com or find us on Facebook. Got a news tip? Email us at news@NCWLIFE.com or call 888-2020.